Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you were listening or watching, however you were listening and watching. Thank you for tuning in to episode 36 of the 101 podcast, where everyone is entitled to their own wrong opinion. I am the Cuban cowboy, Mr. Good Call, Vinnie Paul, your host. My co-host for today, you've seen her on episode 19, you've seen her on episode 4. It's Valerie Vibar, everybody.
Hey.
And joining us to have an out-of-this-world conversation all the way from Atlanta, please welcome Mr. Lorenzo Sanford, everybody.
Woo!
Lorenzo, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you, Vinny. And it's Sanford.
Sanford, oh, damn it.
Like,
I got to do better homework. Who put this in my coffee? I did, that's right. So today's episode, we're going to talk astrology. Does anybody out there know what astrology is? I sure as hell don't. That's why we've got two professionals here to tell you all about it. So as I've been introduced to it, astrology is basically horoscopes. Am I right, Valerie?
Yeah, not really.
I'm not right at all. So that's why we've got the professionals here to tell you more about it. So
is this, Vinny, is this an astrology show? I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Oh, everybody's a freaking comedian, okay? Look. Okay, I'll give you the cues.
He got you there.
He did. He got me.
you.
He got me. Not only are you an astrologer, but you're also a musician. We're going to get into that a little bit later because me and you would have a little bit of music talk, so we'll get into that. But right now, I want to hit the astrology feature. So I don't know what astrology is. So Valerie, give me a little bit about astrology, and then Lorenzo, insert correct last name. He's also going to give you a little bit about what he does, and Valerie's going to tell you first. Tell him, Valerie.
Okay, so astrology, like, what the name says, it's the study of the stars and how your life is basically written in the stars. But it has a long history to it. It's not like the horoscopes that we see every day where it's like, oh, if you're a Capricorn, you do this. If it's a Taurus, it's this. It's much, much more complex than that. You have your sun sign, like me, I'm a Capricorn. It's more than that. You have your moon sign, your rising sign, and depending on who you talk to, your sun sign is not really as important as your rising or your moon. Again, depending on who your astrologer is. But again, it's been alive for thousands of years. The Sumerians were doing it. The Mayans were reading the stars. The Mayans are extinct now, though. But
well, they got the stars right then.
No? They did. Because the 2021 thing,
yeah.
No, the 2012 issue, they say that it was going to be the end of the world, but no, it was an astrological alignment that was happening. It was the end of the Mayan calendar. But
well, on that topic, I remember in 2012, because I think it was December 12th or December 14th, something like that, it was supposed to end. And right after that, all you saw was a bunch of Mayans frantically running around trying to finish their Christmas shopping.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right, Vinny.
Right.
Now, so what is astrology to you?
I agree with Valerie. It's the connection of the planets as they relate to us as human beings and our behavior specifically. Okay. And, so we can tell when someone is responsible and mature like Valerie or a loose cannon like you.
And two brutes. So just by this 90 seconds that we've had, Lorenzo, besides knowing that I have a horrible memory for last names, can you tell anything astrologically about me without knowing anything about me?
If I were one of the types of astrologers who looked at physical characteristics in a detailed way, I could. Okay. But I don't. I'm not one who can look and tell somebody's rising sign. Can you, Valerie?
No, because here's the hard part, like for all the listeners out there. Rising sign is when they say your physical appearance. I'm a Scorpio rising. So you have the intense look in my eyes. But when I'm on, because I work in entertainment, I can come off as the sweetest person ever. Most people don't know. And an astrologer told me is that, if you just do the basic thing, because in astrology you have to go deeper. If it's just the basic, I'm a Scorpio rising because my eyes are sharp. But I'm a Scorpio rising because I can blend in. Scorpio wants things. So if I have to be sweet to get something from you, or to blend in because I want something, then I'll change. It's a very mutable, changeable sign. So the whole thing with reading your appearance, it's difficult. It's more complex than that.
I agree. What degree is your rising?
Oh, I can't even remember.
Come on.
I can't remember. I know it was like, let me pull it up.
But she goes to a reader.
I go to a
Now,
reader.
do you have a reader yourself? Is
No,
Lorenzo?
When you say a reader, what do you mean?
Like I have someone who actually reads my energy because it's hard for me to read. Like a psychic reader. Psychic.
Oh, I see. Sometimes I pull on friends to just give me their own interpretation, but I've been studying my chart. Everybody should study their own chart really deeply. It's sort of like their own personal mandala. It's like you can look at it and see all these shapes, all these patterns, and
Yeah.
if you study it long enough, it sort of transfixes you, and you can then find deeper meaning in it over the years.
I'm just looking for my degree. I'm not not paying attention. Okay.
No, it's fine.
So Lorenzo, do you practice astrology professionally, or
I do.
Oh, you
I
do.
do.
So where
Yes,
can people find you, and how do they get in contact with you if they're curious about going deeper?
My website is astrologicastrology.com.
Okay, and we've put that up in the chat, so everybody that's there, I'll take screenshots of it. Everything will be on the Patreon for the 101 podcast with episode 36 with Mr. Lorenzo Sanford. So we can find you at astrologicastrology.com. What city are you based out of?
I'm in Atlanta, but I also have a YouTube channel, which is Astrologic Astrology.
Okay.
And I also have an Instagram page, which is, what is it?
Astrologic Astrology? I don't care what the girls say about me. I'm dumb.
They told me you were brilliant, and now I see.
Yeah, but who are the girls? All right, Valerie's got her chart up here.
I got my degree up. It's 7 degrees, 43.
Oh, 7 degrees of Scorpio. Nice.
Yes.
Very nice. I have a daughter who's a Scorpio rising.
Oh.
She has great eyes. She can see anything. She's actually a filmmaker. She's a director.
Oh. What's her moon sign?
Gemini.
Oh, she's perfect. She's perfect for film. See, that's how we get along.
Really? What does all that mean? So for people who are listening and watching and have no clue what's going to happen, Lorenzo is going to explain what that means.
So when we talk about the moon, that's how you react, your
Okay.
natural instinctive reaction patterns. In Vedic astrology, the moon is more important than the sun.
Yes.
And the reason is because, if I may, Valerie, intrude on your area a bit.
Do you think?
The reason why it's more important in Vedic astrology is because if you have peace, which is what the moon symbolizes, then it can make a difference in all the rest of your life. But if you don't have peace, then that changes the quality of all the rest of everything else that happens in your chart, according to the Vedic system. Right, Valerie? Is that would you say that? Hey!
And so how do I get to that seventh sign? Is it something that I just inherit as a character personality, or is it something that I'm born with?
We're all born with the same planets. They're just in different arrangements.
Okay.
So there's 10 planets in the sky, right? And depending on
you ask.
what day, right, in our zodiac, I should say, and
Okay.
depending on what time you're born and the specific location of your birth, then the planets are arranged in different configurations based on that information. So no one has the same chart. In fact, it's said that you can't have a repeat chart for 26,000 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it just because one would refute the other, or?
Well, it's because everything is always changing, and that's the nature of astrology. Astrology is really just the science of determining the quality of time. So when you were born, you took on the qualities of that moment that you took your first breath.
Mm-hmm.
You stopped taking nourishment and life energy from your mother through her umbilical cord, and you began to vibrate with the energy of the universe at that moment that you took your first breath. That's when you became an independent being, and that's when your life took on the energy of the moment that you were born in. So literally, the universe is speaking a unique language through you based on that moment and time that you were born.
So as I grow and develop and adopt to my environment, my moons and suns and planets can change or realign?
No, the planets stay the same.
Okay.
However, when you were born, that was your wiring. You got wired. You got imprinted with a certain software from the universe.
Okay.
Now, the planets never stopped moving. So when they continue to move, then eventually they make relationships to your planets at the time of your birth. And that's how we're able to tell what's going on with you in terms of your growth, the challenges, the positive things that are happening. It's all about the relationships of the planets to your planets at the time of your birth. Does that make sense to you? Am I saying it well?
No. I get it. So in other words,
Okay,
I can change, but the planets won't.
exactly. But the planets
Even
do.
though I'm wired to be maybe in this certain spectrum of behavior, I can still evolve or devolve as it will be.
Absolutely. You always have a choice. That's the thing that astrology, most people don't know. It's not like your fate is written and you have no choice in it. You always have a choice because the chart just talks about your innate potential, your innate sense of what can be for you, and some of the innate challenges that you have. But your consciousness affects everything. So if you have a certain awareness, you can make shifts so that you can make the most of what you have or avoid some of your weaknesses.
So if I know where my strengths and weaknesses are, I should be able to consciously, if I want to get better, avoid my vices and adhere more to where my strengths are.
That's exactly right.
I want to be a better person, but sometimes people just want to be shitheads,
Exactly.
and those people cannot be helped.
Exactly.
That's why we have the evolution corner for the dodo birds, the dinosaurs, and all those kind of people. So you practice Western, she practices Vedic. Valerie, tell us a little bit about Vedic, and then Lorenzo, I want to hear the difference between that and Western.
I actually practice
Okay.
both.
Okay.
I practice both, but I lean more into the Vedic because that's just a personal thing for me. Because um, I just got more answers doing Vedic than I did Western. And it's not to discriminate between the two. It's just I had more of an inkling towards Vedic. But the difference between the two is that it's like they do the computations differently. Like in Western, I'm a Cancer moon, but in the Vedic, I'm a Gemini moon. So there's
Right.
a difference there. But just because it's different doesn't mean it's one is wrong or the other one is right. Because I use both to get more when I'm doing a reading. I use both to get more the bigger picture. Like for example, Gemini moon in Vedic means that my mind is overactive. I'm very artistic. I have to do a lot of things at once. But a Gemini moon in Western is more like you're not emotional or you're more intellectual. You're very playful, but you're not emotional. But in my Western astrology, I'm a Cancer moon, which is super emotional. Like Vinnie can tell, I'm both. I'm super emotional, yet I am hyperactive with all the things I do. My mind is like, I'm bored, right?
I
All that is
believe,
true.
believe it or not, I have the same exact moon as you.
Ah!
In Vedic, I mean in
By
Western I'm a
the way,
Cancer.
I want my tip.
In Western I'm Cancer, and Vedic I'm Gemini.
Right? So you get what I'm saying. That's the between the two, it's a different way of reading, but it's still both. mm, Nothing is wrong or nothing is right. They're just there. It's just how it is.
Well, the actual technical explanation of it is that in there's a distinct motion of the planet that affects the calculations so
Yes.
that so that um, what started off as a certain position in the zodiac thousands.
I think Rose.
Give it a second.
Did I lose you?
Yes, can you
Okay, you
repeat it?
froze. Now I hear
All right.
you. Okay, so I was just explaining that Vedic is based on sidereal astrology,
Yes.
and sidereal astrology is um, connected to the exact precise movements of the Earth and its wobble and how that changes its position if you use the precise exact mathematical calculations. And so over a period of time, they have changed 1 degree per month over years and years and years, so that now in a Western chart, someone who has a planet in one sign, in the Vedic chart, it's 23 degrees behind, so it's potentially in another sign. But it's not really a problem, as Valerie says, because the Western system is a sort of, how shall we say it? I'm losing the word. It's representational. It's an astrology based on, it's a symbolic zodiac, is what I'm meaning to say. So we can get the same, not the same, but we get similar meanings. But the Western system is based more on the seasons, and that's why it doesn't have to be based on the exact moment or the exact rotation of the Earth and its wobble through space and time, which is what sidereal has done and stayed on top of very acutely. And so there's a mathematical difference, but symbolically, they both work. They literally do both work.
So according to astrology, depending on summer, spring, winter, fall, even though my sign says this is typically where I'm dominant or what my dominant characteristics are, it can change based off of the time of the year.
Yes.
Really?
And in the different astrological systems.
Sure.
So like in the, like Valerie was just saying, both of us have in the Western chart, we have moon in Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's 23 degrees difference between the Western system and the Vedic system, our moons would be back in the sign of Gemini in the Vedic system. And the important thing is you can't combine the two. You do not ever do a reading where you say, well, here is one system and here's the other system. You have to be true to whichever system you're using, and that system will speak. It is valid. It's just that when you try to combine them, it's like asking, two economists who have different views of how to deal with the economy, which is the right one. They both are looking at the numbers, but they both have preconceived definitions that they think are valid, right?
I agree. Because it's difficult. I just do it out of my own curiosity. But I agree. Because like some of it won't. It's difficult to explain.
I wish I had my good friend James Braha on with us, because he's one of the world's authorities on Vedic astrology, and he would get us straight, Valerie. He would tell us.
I know he would.
He would tell us, and he can be reached for anyone who's into Vedic astrology.
You dropped his name. Tell us about James. Who is he? What does he do? How is his relation? What's his relationship with you?
He's one of the people, one of the first Americans who was able to make the whole complex Vedic system accessible to Westerners.
Oh.
Because in India, it's very complex, and there's a lot of different rules and different systems within that larger system. And so he had the courage. He went over there 40 years ago to India and started learning, and then he just decided he was going to translate and make it accessible to us in the West. And 40 years later, he has 7 or 8 books and just sort of an amazing interpreter of that system. And in fact, he's one of my mentors. I don't claim to have any knowledge, as you can tell, by my by my lack of being able to articulate it clearly. But I do ask for his insights, and he's kind enough to share them with me whenever I have questions. And so I'm comfortably a Western astrologer and aspirationally an admirer of the Vedic system.
So it sounds like to me, going back to what we were talking about before, James, just including the two different kinds, Vedic and Western, it sounds like when I was in debate club, we would have to learn, the conservative side and the liberal side of an argument in order to understand how to respond to both of them. Is that kind of the gist of what I'm getting?
That's very close. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Although
It's
I
just-
hate the liberal side, I understood it.
Exactly. Me too. Me too. I mean, those damn liberals. I mean, we've had enough.
The next podcast, those damn liberals.
We've had enough, right?
Okay, so I have just gotten a message that says the person who's going to get their surprise reading is ready to chime in. Are
Okay.
you all prepared?
Okay, I
Are you
haven't done this
prepared?
in a while. Okay, let's do this shit.
Okay, I'm going to bring him in. Oh wait, he's here. It's me.
Vinnie, this is too easy.
Oh, you think it's easy? All right. So what do I need to give you in order for you to do the reading?
Date of birth.
Date of birth, time, and place.
Okay, time was 12:20 in the afternoon.
Hold on one second.
This is gonna be so much fun. It makes me feel like a schoolgirl. Don't ask me how I know what a schoolgirl feels like. As an adult.
Okay, so you said 12:20?
12:20 in the afternoon, it was a Monday,
Date of birth.
April 15th, 1985.
Oh, damn, Aries.
I know, right?
It was Jacksonville,
April
Florida.
15th, what time?
12:20
I mean, what year?
1985. I think it was
Oh,
the
you're-
year. It was
Oh, you're one of those.
What does that mean? Those like you people.
Okay, wait a minute. So, you said April 15th, 1985,
Jacksonville, Florida.
tax day, no less.
Yeah, my
My
parents were cheap. They just wanted the
gosh, Vinnie, come on. Okay, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Florida, 12:20 on a Monday.
Got it.
So can anybody just type this in and look this up? What are you all doing?
I'm putting it-
doing to calculate everything.
Yeah, I'm putting it into a computer that I have on my phone, but I have several different ones.
Okay. And so what happens? It tells you because A, B, and C, then D is the results, and D is what the reading is?
No, I actually have a chart. I'll put it on the screen so you can see
Yeah,
it.
give us a visual here because I'm curious.
So this is, I don't know if you can see this.
Okay. Yeah. Looks like a sundial or a obtuse triangle.
Exactly. It's a, let's see.
That's where everything aligns. That tells me everything, right?
That's the Western chart.
That's the Western chart.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a snapshot of the sky at the time
Okay.
of your birth.
Oh.
It's as if I took this picture, this phone, and snapped a picture, and then the app translated it into a map.
Now, are you looking up the Vedic one, Valerie?
The Vedic one looks different. So the Vedic, like what Lorenzo said, it's too calculated. You have the D9, D10, D11, all of those. But the basic chart for Vinnie looks like this.
Oh yeah,
Yes. So
Nice.
it's different from the Western, which is a circle. So
So what does the Vedic say? What does the Western say? And before you get into it, should they match?
they will say some things that overlap, but again, they're different systems.
Okay.
yeah. So there
Right.
are, it's like what we said earlier, the moon in Western is your emotions. The moon in Vedic is more like how you think.
Okay.
So different things.
Okay. All right. So give us the Vedic. Give us the
You can
Western.
go first.
Give us the Western, Lorenzo. What does it say about me? How messed up am I?
Well, you're obviously a sun sign Aries,
Mhm.
right? Which makes you inclined to be someone who is a pioneer. And by the way, you're going to be a Aries in both the systems because
Okay.
the degree is so advanced, it's 25 degrees of Aries. So that means in Vedic, you're going to be like 2 or 3 degrees of Aries.
Okay.
But so that's good. You know, at least there's continuity there. So Aries people are, you know, are original, innovative, fearless. You know, would that fit you? Would you consider yourself to be
I'll let
original,
Valerie
innovative,
that.
So I
fearless?
was reading. Fearless, yes, he is stupidly fearless. Take note, stupidly fearless.
But I'm not hubris. I don't have hubris. I'm a confident person, but I'm not. I take what's called calculated risks. That's
And
the
you have
way
moon,
part of me, I guess.
and in the Western system, you have moon in Pisces, which makes you a deeply empathetic person, compassionate and caring person. So that takes some of that Aries energy and then gives it more of a heart.
Now, when you
So
say that
you have a big heart.
now when you say that there's different degrees, what determines the degrees and what are they and how many degrees can there be? Because she had
30 degrees in, there's 30 degrees in every sign.
30 degrees.
And so so if you're born on March 20th, 21st, that's 0 degrees of Aries.
Mm-hmm.
And then each day is another degree, so that by the time you get to April 20th, you're like at 29 degrees of Aries, and then you go into Taurus.
Okay, I see it
So
now.
your sun, so your sun is at 25 degrees of Taurus, Aries, so there's only 5 degrees of
5, 8,
Aries
11,
left.
4 Taurus.
Yep. But your
Okay.
moon is in Pisces in the Western system, so that makes you caring, empathetic, creative, sensitive. You can pick up the energy in a room. You know what the vibe is.
Is that
You can
accurate,
read
Valerie?
people.
Yeah, you are pretty empathetic. Or you can read the room.
Yeah, I can read a room, except when I'm telling a joke and
Or when you're
and I get kicked out of the Zoom chat room for
which has happened. It's happened.
days.
And from my perspective in the Western chart, you have the Mars in the 10th house, and it's conjunct the North Node, or in Vedic it's called Rahu. But in the 10th house, Mars in the 10th house is saying that you are supposed to have an independent career. You're supposed to be an entrepreneur. You're supposed to go out and be someone who charts his own course, his own path, so that you're not following anybody else. You're going forward in what matters to you, and you're very tenacious about it because it's the sign of Taurus. So you're not going to quit. Nothing is going to stop you from achieving what you want to achieve because you're determined and you will push ahead and you're going to make your mark in the world.
Valerie, is any of that accurate?
He is super stubborn when he puts his mind to it.
Vigilant. I call it vigilance.
We call it Taurus in astrology. You will not stop for anything.
Is that what you call it, Vinnie?
Once he starts.
Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, like Admiral Farragut said.
Once he starts. If he doesn't want to do it, he won't do it. But if he said he'll do it, it's like, woof.
And I don't know if this is because of the astrology, but I definitely, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way. There's no sense in me doing something if I'm going to do it half-assed. Is that representative?
Absolutely.
So that's representative of what you see there?
Absolutely. And you also have an important aspect coming up soon. Your Jupiter return is happening in the next couple of weeks. Jupiter is in Aquarius in your natal chart. And as you know, from all the hype in December, we just had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the sign of Aquarius. Yeah. So that means that Jupiter's coming back to the place it was when you were born. And so it's sort of reigniting your passion. And Jupiter in Aquarius is really the sign of someone who believes in equality for everyone, and who believes that people are better by working together than trying to do something as isolated individuals. You believe in the collective energy of people working together. And so this Jupiter return in Aquarius that's happening for you in just a few weeks is going to reignite your sense of purpose. You're going to move in the world with a greater sense of knowing that you have something important to share, and you're going to share it in a much more focused and concentrated way because your life is coming back to that sense of, I need to do this because it's important for the greater good.
No, I got it right. Now, when I see things like that and I know something's coming up, does that just automatically mean that I'm geared for it and that I'm going to do it, or does that just mean that I have the motivation to do it and that I have the opportunity to really pursue something? And why not today as opposed to 3 weeks from now?
That's an excellent question. Well, generally speaking, if it's something important like this Jupiter return, yes, you're going to experience that in a visceral way.
Okay.
It won't be just in your head. You're going to feel this energy of reconnecting with your purpose and reconnecting with what gives you a sense of meaning in your life. So yes, it will be hard for you to deny that energy.
Okay.
You are going to feel it. You're going to act on it, and there's going to be something that gives you a boost or a push forward. So there are some aspects that are like that, which are really pronounced. And then there's other aspects that aren't as pronounced. Those are the ones that happen, say, on a daily basis, wherever the sun is, wherever the moon might be on any given day. Those might be experiences that just happen as temporary, momentary events. But when you have something big like a Jupiter return or a Saturn return or something happening with Pluto, you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel it in the deepest parts of yourself. Now, you still have choice.
Of course,
but
at the end of the day, we always do.
But you're going to feel it, and based on your own background and your influences, it will determine how you proceed in the feeling that you have with this energy that will be coming into your life.
Now, does it say if it's a positive energy, negative energy? Does it say if
Well, yes. Well, in this case, yes. In this case, because Jupiter is generally always a positive influence. The big challenge with Jupiter is that it can lead to excess because it does feel so good, right? So generally, though, if you don't go overboard, Jupiter is going to bring you a lot of good energy, and it's known as the planet of good fortune, but that can be exaggerated. People can expect a little bit too much from Jupiter sometimes because you hear, oh, you're going to win the lottery, or oh, you're going to do this and to do that. Most of us aren't going to win the lottery, but you will be inspired when a Jupiter transit comes. Something's going to expand your consciousness. Something's going to give you a sense of greater understanding or a greater purpose, or make you want to reach out for more in your life.
Okay.
So when Jupiter comes back to its place where it was when you were born, it just, as I said, it reignites that whole sense of what gives you a sense of purpose, what gives your life meaning, what makes you happy. And so you're coming on good times, man. Good times.
So just knowing that, I'm already ready for it. I think the most inspiring thing that's going to happen to me is doing my taxes in the next few weeks. And if that brings me joy, that may be a small little lottery that I win.
Well, there you go. And one of the things that we can do to go further in detail, if we want to not just talk in generalities, is to see what Jupiter influences in your birth chart. And in your chart, Jupiter is the ruler in the Western chart, is the ruler of your fifth house. So I think it's interesting that exactly. The fifth house in astrology represents children.
Okay.
So I think it's totally beautiful. Okay.
I want to go.
So one of the manifestations of the Jupiter return and Jupiter ruling the fifth house is there's a new beginning in all areas related to fifth house matters. So that is children. That's That's creativity. That's love relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That's your sense of being able to really express yourself for who you are as a unique being in the world. All this stuff is reaching another level for you now at this time in your life.
And that's the Western side of it, right? Now,
yes,
Valerie, give us the Vedic side of it, and I want to see what kind of the differences are. I'm sure there's similarities in the characteristics and the personality, but I want to see how different the charts are.
Well, you have a lot of planets in retrograde.
Well, what is everyone says? Oh, Mars is in retrograde, Venus is. What does that mean in retrograde, Valerie?
In my side, it just means that things are going to happen late, or that planet is affected Like your Venus is in retrograde. So in short, the love of your life isn't going to come early. It's going to come in a later part of your life. 30s and above, definitely not 20s. Your Saturn is in retrograde. So your work, the work that you would be happy in, again, will not happen early in life. It will come in later in life. So retrograde just means that it's going to, in the Vedic way, it's going to come in late. Or there's going to be, challenges towards it. But for you, your sun is in Aries here, so it means your ego. Because sun is ego, Aries is ego. You have a childlike ego towards you. Your relationship towards your father, he's most likely that macho man. So very masculine, very warrior-like. No, just masculine. But he does have an ego towards him as well. Your relationship with your mom, it's because I know you personally, but from here, it's still kind of, it's not as emotional. Or it's actually, no, you have karma in your moon. Because in Vedic, you look for the planets that are in Aquarius or in Scorpio. It means those are the planets of karma. So you have your moon in Aquarius, you have your Saturn in Scorpio. So your relationship with your mom isn't exactly the best thing. I'm not saying you don't love each other. I'm just saying that there's like hurdles towards it. But your moon is in Aquarius here in the Vedic chart. So in short, the way you think, you like weird things. Let's talk about aliens. Let's talk about this. Very smart though. Aquarius is intelligence. So Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Pisces. When it comes to love, you're like, I want to love you. You're so sweet with love.
I'm not a hopeless romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic.
Yes, very positive. Yeah. But isn't
That shot me in the foot every time. Son of a bitch.
And your sun and Mars are in the same. Your sun, Mars, and Rahu. You are scary when you're angry because it's all in Aries. Your sun, Mars, Rahu, all of those are fire. Sun and Mars, anger, plus Rahu is expansion. So it expands everything. So since it's in Aries, you're very scary when you're angry.
That's true. I'm scary when I'm awake, basically, any time of the day.
Your Jupiter is in Capricorn, so money for you isn't going to come. Capricorn is kind of like retrograde. Capricorn comes in late. They'll make you learn the lessons before they give you the prize. Because one thing with Capricorn, it's the sign of karma, along with Saturn, which is the planet of karma. So your Jupiter, which represents money, Capricorn, you really have to work hard. It's not going to come easy for you money-wise. Your Saturn is in Scorpio, so a little bit of struggle when it comes to work. Not saying you don't like it, not saying this, but there is some. I'm just like reading through this because to do an in-depth reading, he knows that to do an in-depth reading, it's hours. So your Rahu is in Aries, your Ketu is in Libra. So even Libra.
So in other words, I'm gonna work hard for no money. I'm gonna be in love late in my life.
I'm not saying that it's not gonna come. I'm just saying that there's like struggles towards it. Because Jupiter in Capricorn, you have to put in like the work. Like you are a good worker. Then you do put in the work. So that's how money's gonna come to you. It's not gonna come to you through luck or through connection.
So I don't get a fucking silver spoon? What kind of life is that? Crap.
You are a good worker though. That's what I'm saying. Like from you, because you are a good worker, money is gonna come in. But it's
Do you hear that, honey? One day, when I die, you're gonna get my life insurance. Then she'll be rich.
But your Saturn is in.
So
go on.
So what I found is that the Vedic system is superb for making pronouncements about your life in ways that sort of can tell you what your station in life is going to be, and the periods of your life where you're going to have good fortune and when you're going to have less than good fortune. And there's just some concrete things that Vedic does extremely well. Whereas in the Western system, it gives you an ability to look at your psychology and look at the kind of things that influence you and motivate you or hinder you because of your psychology. So Vedic doesn't deal with your psychology as much as your concrete experiences, and Western deals with more of the psychology behind the experiences that you live through.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like when she was reading, it talked about personal relationships, and when you were reading, it was more about characteristics and personality.
Exactly.
Is that typical for Vedic to
Excellent.
to Western?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to know about something that's going to happen, or you want to know about something that, like my friend, going back to my friend James Braha, he actually kind of his influence and his predictions about my career kind of, in some sense, saved my life, because at the time that I got a reading from him, I was considering giving up music because I had just gotten married for the first time, and there was this need to earn a solid income, which I wasn't doing, and there was a lot of pressure to make that happen,
Yeah.
and not sure what to do. I reached out to him, and I started to tell him things about my life, and he said, "Nope, stop. Don't tell me anything because I don't want you second guessing me. I want the chart to tell you, and then you can tell me whatever you think, because I want the chart to stand on its own." And he said, "This is the chart of a performer." And it was like, whoa. And that one pronouncement kept me going. And my life is better for it, I think.
Are you still pursuing music? Do you still play?
Oh, absolutely. I have an EP of four songs coming out this week.
And is the name of the EP Astrological Astrology?
No, it's not. It's Ain't No Rules to Love.
Ain't
Ain't no rules to love. I'm gonna put it on your chat just so you can have it.
You're gonna put it on iTunes? Where can people find it?
It's on Spotify, and it's
all
on
right.
all the streaming. It's gonna be on all the streaming services. And it's the story of my wife and I, how we found that our love came together after a lot of years of dating and making mistakes, but we realized that we were on our own path that wasn't constrained to what other people thought or what convention says. There's no rules to finding out how to love somebody, and so that's what the title song is about, and the whole EP is dealing with love themes.
Now, are these slow
And
songs?
there is
Are they
the title.
upbeat songs? Are these just kind of
There's a couple of.
like a Sade album?
It is similar to. I'm glad you said that. It is kind of like a throwback, old school R&B kind of vibe.
Cool. Very cool.
Wow, that's see. I told you you're empathic.
I can read the room. Remember, I can read the room.
You absolutely. That's beautiful. I'm just putting my name here so people can see it. But yeah, it's coming out in exactly a week.
Okay, Ain't No
No
Rules.
Rules.
Going to be released.
Ain't No
on
Rules to Love.
Spotify, all the streamings. Lorenzo Sanford. There are rules to astrology. What you have proven to me, because I'll be honest with you. I had a conversation with Valerie here. I says I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical because I've seen her do readings and I've seen her go down people's charts, but just some guy saying he's a master astrologist. I want to see if he's a fake. And I want to see it through. That's why I had two of you on, because I know that there's different ways of expressing astrology and different ways of reading it. But you, my friend, are totally in love with astrology. And I can tell that you're deep in it, and it's like you love it. I can tell that you're very passionate about it. And all the listeners and viewers can also see that you're the real thing. She's the real thing. You guys both are very, very passionate about that. I'm just glad.
But the question is, but the question is, did you resonate with the things that I said?
Oh, I totally did. I totally did. And you know, the fact that you mentioned the part about Jupiter coming back around, there are some things that I have had in the works that are going to come to fruition in the next couple months that are going to flourish in the form of creation. So right on, Roger. I mean, I can't say anything bad about astrology from here on out. I know it works.
Finally.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Send Vinnie that check, please. Get him that check. Oh no, I didn't mean. I meant to say, Oh, that's so valuable. Oh, so cool of you, man.
Lorenzo,
So cool of you.
I'm sorry I got your name wrong in the beginning, but I'm so glad that I was right about you being the real thing. Valerie's the real thing too. You can find her at Valerie Vibar on Instagram. You are at Lorenzo Sanford. What's your Instagram? What's your Twitter page?
Well, I have so many. The astrology website is astrologicastrology.com.
And that is in the chat. I'm going to put that on the page also.
And Instagram is Astrologic Astrology, and the YouTube channel is Astrologic Astrology.
You know, you should really have a flat line here because it's making people hard to find you.
But for music, you just Lorenzo Sanford, and you'll find my stuff on all the streaming services in a week.
Lorenzo, I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it has been having you on this episode 36 of the 101 podcast, where everyone is entitled to their own wrong opinion. If you don't mind staying on, I'm going to play a 1-second outro to finish the show, and then we'll have a little.
I got to go. I can't do that.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding.
I told you.
I'm kidding.
Lorenzo.
I'm kidding. No, thank you so much, Vinnie, man. This is a beautiful thing. Just meeting you this week and then having this conversation today. Your spirit is such a beautiful spirit. I'm so thankful for being able to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for Valerie for coming on. Lovely having her. Thank you, Lorenzo. Everybody,
thank you, Valerie. It's nice meeting you.
And we're going to play it out. Let me mute you for just a second here.
Oh, yeah, this is the end of the show. Oh, you know what that means. I gotta say goodbye.